Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Today, we're going to talk about the TerraMar project. What is the TerraMar project, you asked? I'm glad you asked. I have no clue. Hopefully, we're going to find out. Let's watch some stuff.
Strange things you probably didn't know about. So you know Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's former partner? She was part owner of a submarine company. It's called the TerraMar project. You can look this up. She's got her license and everything. There is some speculation going around that this is tied to the underground tunnels that they found.
Okay, so far it's looking like it might be a type of submarine company or something, because it's got them folks involved in it. And how would that little hatch there have anything to do with submarines? I mean, it doesn't look like it's submersible. It's not underwater. It looks a little high up on the land. I don't know. Let's keep going.
To leverage technology to create a new country. Now, I know I speak with a funny accent, and so yes, I did say country, not company. So, with that, I'm the founder of an internet project called the TerraMar project. It's an ocean-based digital platform which I'm going to be talking to you about. I just want to go back briefly to talk to you about why I got involved in the ocean, and because I think it's history. So I started diving when I was 9, having become passionate about the ocean, watching Jacques Cousteau on TV. And it led to a lifelong exploration around the ocean that ultimately ended with me becoming a deep worker submersible pilot.
To be completely honest, I didn't know that about Ghislaine Maxwell. All I knew about her is what everybody knows about her, is that she's a disgusting human being and she's a groomer and she worked with Epstein. That's pretty much it. Anything else, you know, is inconsequential because she's just a piece of crap. So, good for her. She went to school and did things. Look at where it got you.
The high seas make up 47% of our planet, but they are the least explored and least governed part of it. A British businesswoman, though, is hoping to change the status quo by turning the oceans into an online country known as
the TerraMar project, a global ocean community. The ocean is absolutely vital to all planetary life systems. I call it the blue heart of the planet.
So much so that she has been campaigning for years, showing off her TerraMar project, a nonprofit organization focused on the well-being of the oceans.
In 2012, I founded the TerraMar project. The ocean is the next frontier. It's the next big debate. It's the next big grab of space.
But Maxwell's philanthropic heart comes into question when you dig a little deeper. It becomes obvious that her project is less about helping the environment and more about owning and controlling the oceans.
71% of the planet is ocean. 64% of that ocean lies outside of any single country's jurisdiction. And under the law, that 64% of the ocean belongs to each and every one of you in this room. So the assets of that 64% are yours. The fish, the oil, the gas, the diamonds. It's an area that's not governed by a single entity. It's a mess of incoherent laws, unenforced laws, and no laws. That's half our planet we're talking about. The world is divided in two. An area that we know well that has laws and regulations, and an entire 45% of the planet that has basically no rules. It is effectively like the Wild West.
So at the beginning of that clip, it looked like it was an interview with Ghislaine Maxwell, who we all know is a kind of person, right? And she was saying that she is a resident of TerraMar, which kind of makes me get like sovereign citizen vibes. And those people just kind of make me crazy. But sovereign citizen to what? This thing that she has created, which is owning the ocean. And the narrator was right. Yeah, it's basically trying to make profit off of the fish. Like, oh, I own this part of the ocean. If you're going to fish here, you have to pay me per fish that you remove. That sounds shady and difficult to do. And it sounds like it's just taking profits from fishermen and stuff like that, or just raising prices because now we have this extra price because you decided that you own this fish in this particular area. And what happens if a fish goes from your property into my property? Is it my fish now? Or is it still your fish because it started in your... That's just too much. That's too much. That's... Okay. We're going to keep going. Before we carry on, would you do me a huge favor and hit that like button for me? Let me know that you're here and it'll help out my channel. Also, if this is your kind of content, won't you consider subscribing and then come back tomorrow because I'm making a new episode every single day. All the days. I'm here doing this, learning stuff, teaching stuff, probably. I don't know. But I'm here. I'm doing it and it's fun.
64% of the ocean lies outside of any single country's jurisdiction, and under the law it forms the global commons. That means it belongs to you. The reality today, though, is that the current law of the seas is based on an outdated mindset. It says that the high seas can be exploited by the few, and by the way, it is being exploited by the few, so long as we all still have the right of access. It's an area that's not governed by a single entity. It's a mess of incoherent laws, unenforced laws, and no laws. That's half our planet we're talking about. Activities are largely unregulated and unmonitored. You cannot take out keystone species or the big sharks or the tunas and expect there not to be a knockoff massive problem.
So there are undertones in this TerraMar project that make me feel like, okay, perhaps there is some concern for the wildlife happening there and the regulation of, fishing or, taking out specific species and stuff like that. There's that feeling. But then you think, who is this person? This is a nasty, conniving, deviant human being who is just absolutely scum. So this project makes me feel dirty, like she's just trying to gain control of the ocean. Like, would she be like the president or something? Like she needed to be in charge of the ocean because it's not being in charge of.
So what can we do? Going to wrap up very fast here. I'd like to suggest that maybe we should be bold and we should be, on top of all the things that we know, maybe you should think of some strange things. So I'd like to propose two solutions. One is a currency, a digital currency for social good based on our joint ownership of the global commons, which would place a value on fish never previously placed before, and use all the profits to go back in to pay for things that governments have a hard time paying for. And the second thing that I would like to propose is that we all jointly own our global commons. We own 45% of the planet. It is ours. And though each and every one of us here are represented by a company or a country, we all each have an individual stake and interest in this. And so I think becoming citizens of our global commons, coming together in one united community around our shared love and need of the ocean might also be that. And I am part of the TerraMar project. I invite you all to get your passport so that you become not only citizens of where you're from, but you also become joint citizens of land and sea, because we all have a stake and an interest in this and we need to connect to it in a new way. Thank you.
There it is. So get a passport to TerraMar, from TerraMar. You have a passport of TerraMar. And it's talking to those people who represent companies, major companies and countries, unless she misspoke. I'm not sure, but either way, it's all just a bunch of elite, super rich folks in there trying to get their little piece of a little bit more money. That's what I'm feeling out of this whole thing. And I can't believe I've never heard of it. Well, no, I believe I've never heard of this before. This is me we're talking about. But she kept saying our joint ownership of global commons. I think she's just talking about those people there. Like she looped them in, like when you do you go and you see some stupid presentation for like a timeshare or something like that. And they're saying, oh, we own this, we own this. I think that's kind of what she's doing. She's basically, if you get enough people and they claim citizenship, it becomes a thing, right? Something like that. I don't know. That's why I feel like it's some sovereign citizen crap. And it's just, that's shady as hell. And knowing who she is, it's okay. And it makes me feel like, yeah, that's definitely some shady crap. That's interesting. They tried to like own the ocean. Huh.
What's up? I was making a video on saving the ocean, trying to locate TerraMar, or the place Ghislaine Maxwell was a citizen of. Here it says what makes a treaty legally binding. It has to be done in good faith. And here we got the Treaty of Tordesillas. Shows North and South America on the left, the rest of the continents on the right. It runs through Greenland up there. Same thing here. I'm confused why people think they could travel from the fake North and South America over to the other continents. They can just legally pass treaties. But, here you got roughly where the Treaty of Tordesillas is. And you got Greenland, Groenland, or Norwegia up there, which is United States / South America. And over here you got all the land behind the treaties, or stolen land, or whatever you want to call it, God's stolen land. You got Terra Incognita Nova, Terra Labrador. I figure there's a TerraMar over here somewhere, since I figure that that's where Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein are right now, sipping margaritas. Just trying to locate it. I'll make a video if I find it, though.
I honestly have no idea what that guy was looking for. I think he was looking for like land that was called TerraMar that they were claiming to be from, but I'm pretty sure that it was just like the ocean, that they're like, hey, well, we're going to own the ocean. Let's own the ocean. But I did find something that is interesting, and I'm going to read it real quick. It says, TerraMar's commitment to advancing the Sustainable Development Goals was showcased by the Clinton Global Initiative. I think that's interesting that the Clintons were kind of involved in that, right? And what was she involved in? Just saying.
Ghislaine Maxwell was just sentenced to 20 years in prison for helping Jeffrey Epstein groom and abuse underage girls. Prosecutors were pushing for 30 plus years, but ended up getting 20. According to Maxwell's lawyer, the whole trial was unfair, and Maxwell is being used as a scapegoat because Epstein is no longer alive. Despite the sentence, the story goes deeper and wider than Maxwell and Epstein. Many feel that the justice system is turning a blind eye to the couple's powerful and rich associates and clientele. David on Twitter writes, I don't have the slightest sympathy for Ghislaine Maxwell, who fully deserves her sentence. Now name every billionaire, royal, and superstar on her client list. Even Elon Musk took a shot at the Department of Justice earlier this month for not publicizing Epstein's and Maxwell's client list. Do you think justice has been served in this case? Let us know in the comments.
And as you'd imagine, Mr. Epstein was a donor to this project. Quite a big donor as well. It feels like they were trying to create new, ownership. Like they could own this and, be the rulers of it and create their own laws and do their nasty crap that they were doing. Which they're not anymore, which is great. But, they're just puppets. There's more people still doing this nasty, depraved crap. Anyway, as soon as this whole mess became a mess, the TerraMar project was quickly dissolved, and it is no more. So, yeah, that's probably for the best. On that note, I'm going to call it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I hope you learned something new. I know I totally did. Come on back tomorrow. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.